Because when I nearly died, I had not yet lived. Because when I tried to die, I had lived too much. Because I did not expect to live longer than Christ. Because I did not expect Christ to live long in me. Because when recommended past life regression, I did not want to go back. Because I regret nothing except the mistakes of others. Because when I look in the mirror, I still don't know what to expect. Because when I look in the mirror, I don't recognize the body standing there. Because I am all my past part selves in one semblance of bones. Because my body does not belong to me, but is borrowed. Because I do not remember who I borrowed it from. Because identity is a relative construct, because sanity is a movable feast, because beginnings do not always occur at the start, because sometimes beginnings are incremental and hidden, because sometimes you cannot see where you began until you're at a safe enough distance to look back, because sometimes safety is found only after you've thrown yourself off that cliff. Because sometimes safety is found only after you've hit the ground. Because the rate of decay is travelling faster than the speed of pain. Because time itself is in retreat. Because the shape of the future is reflected in the rear view mirror. Because what you thought was past is always closer than you think. Because both past and future can be jump-started many times. Because one lifetime is never enough. Because sometimes I'm a mote of dust floating in space. Because other times I am a joke looking for its punchline. Because green shoots can rise unexpectedly through concrete. Because I hurtle and skitter like a kite untethered and hurled into the sky. Because sometimes I dream of blissful awakenings. Because sometimes I am kept awake by corrosive nightmares. Because in the morning I will walk tall and not falter. Because in the morning I will step over the imagined future that has fallen to the floor during the course of the night. Because every second is the start of something unexpected and unimaginable. Because once I was an orphan of opportunity, but now I am the first rung of the ladder. Because I always hope to turn again. Because I always hope. Because the first known use of because was in the 14th century. Because sometimes I like to write you poetry and slip it under your pillow. Because the night belongs to lovers is the most popular search term for because. Because disappointment comes in many forms, and you are already disappointed in me for not meeting your expectations, and I am now disappointed in you for meeting mine. Because a series of irrational and often hasty judgments are all our life will ever be. Because our days are unmeasured and unmade by nights of broken sleep. Because afternoons and coffee spoons just won't cut it these days. Because spinning into infinity is a blessing and a curse. Because after a while it is hard to determine which part of you is the wound and which part the knife. Because all things come undone to those whose weight of regret is heavier than the weight of anticipation. Because getting a grip is overrated. Because when pronouncing my name, the shh is silent. Because I have had many names and many faces, but none of them fit anymore. Because the sea is black and the sky is red and the sun has swallowed up the earth. Because the trees are burned and the earth is scarred and the air will take our breath away. Because all of us are birds, feathering our nests before the wind blows it away. Because I looked and saw what my hands had created, and I was most pleased. Because today I am a tiny shaft of light flickering through your pinhole camera. Because yesterday I was climbing the stairs on my hands and knees. Because not knowing what tomorrow will bring is the greatest gift and catastrophe my body can give me. Because I am a survivor of my own worst nightmares. Because I have lived to tell many tales, and some of them are true. Because when I say that you are on fire, I mean that literally, for we are all burning from the inside out. Because the end of the world is neither bang nor whimper, but an ash-grey junkyard full of ones and zeros quiver glitching in the last rays of the sun. Because the city streets have remembered me, even as my footprints erase my path. Because the life you thought you wanted no longer exists, and that is a relief for all concerned. Because the life you are living is as slippery as an electric eel that shocks you senseless as soon as you get a grip. Because there are over 900 species of fig, and each has their own wasp dedicated to eating its flesh and creating the sticky sweetness within. Because I think about this fact whenever I bite into a fig, searching for the godhead wasp. Because I wish to pay my respects. Because it is cheaper than paying for my regrets. Because overmorrow and yestereve are fictional characters in the theatre of reality. Because nothing ever happens for a reason. Because slow dancing our way onto the beach at midnight is the best way to get a parking ticket. Because once upon a tongue I tasted the very ounce of you. Because someday I hope that the words that I write might mean something to someone, and that someone might be me. Because painting my nails for the first time at the age of 33 was my first act of self-care. Because it was another 15 years before I remembered that self-care is the opposite of sabotage. Because the ghosts of our future selves are already here watching and waiting for us to join them. Because I have seen the future, and it hurts. Because it is late now, and we must all get a good night's sleep, for who knows what may befall us in the morning. Because I need you to touch me, but I cannot bear your hands on my body. Because despite appearances to the contrary, I am a coiled spring of hope, hidden inside a carcass of rusting machinery. Because humanity's downfall is our imagination and our inability to stay only in the present moment. Because this is what makes us human, and this is what makes us hurt. Because Captain America and Captain Beefheart are actually the same person living simultaneously in alternate realities. Because I am a message in your bottle, washed upon the shore of our past indiscretions. Because what is the point of life, if not to experience at least once the morning sunlight dappling your partner's cheeks as they lie sleeping next to you? Because what is the actual fuck? Because only now I realise that most of the times I said, I love you, is when I wanted to hear those words from you. Because I have come to the conclusion that cohabitation in a long-term relationship is either an act of immense heroism or extreme cowardice, and often both. Because loneliness is a virtue in the megalopolyptic cities of our future. Because some are born miserable, some achieve misery, and some have misery thrust upon them. Because never in the history of calming things down has saying calm down ever calmed anyone down. Because last night I found a hair of my departed lover, but for 3 hours I couldn't move from the bed as I thought it was a spider. Because there is always something there to remind me. Because I am always and forever apologising, but no one remembers or cares what for, only that it is important that this continues to occur. Because I don't make the rules, except for you, and you, and you. Because sex is good, but have you ever danced on a beach in bare feet and the consistency of the sand is just right? Not too swampy, not too snowdrift. Because God is dead, and this simulated experiment is out of control, but no one can reach the off switch. Because entropy is inevitable and desirable. Because I am the way, and the truth, and the lie. Because this one goes up to 11, because everything must converge, because there is no real me, for I am fluid and multitudinous, because the English language is a tyrant and a pirate and a prostitute, because we are all angels in waiting, ascending or descending, and frequently at the same time, because we only get one short life, and I demand a refund. Because repetition is a valid form of change, because there is no still point left. Because sometimes the heart can't believe what the eyes can see, because I have weighed down my pockets with wanting, because I have waded deep into the river of waiting, because life is imitating art, imitating life. Because the further I travel from myself, the better I see me as I am. Because there is beauty in destruction, and power in alienation, strength in solitude, and wisdom in condemnation. Because the distance in your eyes seems further tonight than a journey to the poles. Because losing you is like taking one step closer to death. Because this is so much less than I deserve. Because I say so. Because the summer has ended and we are still not fucking saved. Because time's arrow has bent back upon itself and the continuity track has warped and ruptured. Because there's no present like the time, and if I could, I'd give it to you, gift-wrapped and fragile and beating like my heart. Because this is not so much an ending, but a falling apart, a parting of ways, a weight finally lifting, then dropping again from a great height. Because life is like a bottle of wine, only worth a quarter of the cost you pay for it. Because sex is better with someone you hate to love than someone you love to hate, but neither compare with the sheer fucking joy of sex with someone to whom you are entirely indifferent. Because me and my imposable thumbs have very little grip on reality. Because the best years of our lives will always be behind us. Because we will never stop becoming. Because I do not fear death, for it is merely the blank page at the end of the book. I fear not having enough time to finish the book first. Because, just because.